how's it going? This is Clover. Welcome to my room. So I wanted to talk a little bit about a documentary I was in. It was just a student, like college, a group of kids. They were really nice and they reached out by making a post in the Boston Lolita community. And they basically said, hey, if anyone's interested in doing a little documentary, you know, reach out. We're trying to just kind of show people about the fashion, maybe dispel some stereotypes, things like that. And I was really interested. I think some people may have been put off a bit by it. Like, this was their post. They just said, hey, hope everyone's having a good day. I'm a student from the University of Connecticut making a documentary about Lolita fashion and community culture with some friends. I wonder if it's at all possible to have some of you interviewed regarding this topic for this and next month. We'll send all participants our final cut and definitely will credit you for appearing on camera. Even if you don't want to be on camera, if you have something to tell about the Lolita culture, you're more than welcome to contact me. You know, some of my friends in this documentary group are photographers. We can also take portraits for people who are willing to help. At last, I want to emphasize that I really love Lolita fashion styles such as Gothic classic styles, and I have friends who also share the love of Lolita culture. I really want to make a good documentary to promote this culture and make people know more about Lolita fashion. If you're interested, shoot me an email. She actually reached out to me and had me read through her documentary proposal. So I guess for this class they had to kind of explain the type of documentary they were going to do, what key points they were going to focus on. Oh, by the way, I got this turtleneck sweater with my salopette to show that I'm a true film critic. Anyway, so she basically opens up her, it's nice that she and her friend actually like the fashion to begin with. I thought that was pretty cool. That kind of made me want to open up a little bit more to her. I was actually like, hey, you want to join our community and like come to meetups and stuff with us and hang out and make more cool videos of all of us, because it looks really good when you make it and edit it. So she was writing for her hypothesis. Our group believes that it's hugely important. Here, let's move this a little bit. Our group believes that it's hugely important that every culture should be respected equally. In the documentary, we would briefly introduce what Lolita fashion... Oh, sorry, I'm like looking around. We briefly introduce what Lolita fashion is and explore its culture. The main conflict of the film is the stereotypes and misconceptions of the majority towards the Lolita community. The discrimination can be avoided by getting to know even a little about the subculture. The film would show from the perspectives of Lolita communities from New England, leading the audience to gain insight into the culture through events such as the Tea House Party. Also, by collecting the opinions of people who do not know Lolita in detail, we want to present the problems and situations that... This is not perfect English, also I'm reading it kind of weird, so I apologize. It was a like a group of kids, students, I want to say from Asia, but I'm not sure. I didn't really ask about it, but I'm just gonna say that I don't believe English was their first language, so there's a couple of little like random grammar things through this. So we would like to show the audience why a high quality Lolita dress costs so much. We would show it from the perspectives of fashion designers if we can find a New England based designer. Unfortunately, they didn't find one. There wasn't really anyone in this area who fit that. So their topic, they said, Lolita dresses inspired by the historical dolls of Victorian times are designed with lace, ribbons, frill, and bows. I know what they were getting at with that, but it's not just inspired by dolls or doll clothing. People actually okay, maybe not this, but this is not a good example, but people actually wore petticoats, scoots that were poofy scoots. People actually wore skirts that were poofy and had the petticoats. It draws from a lot of different historical periods. The main ones we go to with our spiel for the outsiders is Rococo, Victorian, fashion. Those are, I mean, those are like the main ones. And I always phrase it like it's the Japanese take on those fashions. So you know that the Japanese like to, I don't know what this is, but they like to do it. Anyway, so she goes on and says, it started to bloom in Japan and has since gained popularity across the Asian area and Western world, such as the United States. As a team, we would like to explore the formation of Lolita culture and its development in modern society. I'm like, okay, that's cool, I like that. And then she goes on and says, when people think of the word Lolita, they think of sexually mature young girls. Which I'm not sure if that's what people think, but that's I guess the angle they were going at. Let me just continue. The origin of this misconception is a novel named Lolita, written by Russian-American novelist Vladimir Nabokov in 1955. It's a story about a professor being obsessed with a 12-year-old girl. So I would argue a 12-year-old girl is probably not sexually mature. That's why we all cringe whenever we hear the book Lolita. We all cringe and we're all just like, ugh, keep that away from our kawaii fashion. Fuck. Basically, from her topic and exposition piece here, this was the only part that gave me like I don't want to say a red flag, but I was kind of like, it seems like they're really trying to focus on the misconceptions that other people have with the word Lolita and the fashion itself. But like, since I've been out and about in the fashion, I haven't had people coming up to me saying like, oh, are you like into pedo shit? Are you like the book Lolita? Like, I don't have people saying that. I usually just have people saying, oh, this is so cute, or just, oh, what are you dressed up for? And they just kind of like it and whatever. It probably matters a lot. Like, it depends where I am when I'm dressed up, that I tend to get more positive comments than anything, versus like negativity. Or if people are stereotyping me, it is in their head and they're not confronting me, probably because they're scared. She also talks about this Jeffrey Epstein sex offender who raped many minors, is exposed, naming his private jet the Lolita Express, which that's horrible, and I had not heard of that news story, but I'm also not surprised that it's a thing that happened. It's awful. They did ask me about this in some of the interviews, but I didn't have much to say on it. Like, I do try to keep up on news, but I guess I missed that story, so didn't have much to say on that part. While a large group of people love and pay a lot of money for Lolita costumes, there's still a lot of people who have never heard of or do not understand Lolita. So she had me proofread this, and I just underlined costumes, and I was like, we do not refer to these as costumes. Please change this to like outfits or cords or just like anything else. We don't refer to what we wear as a costume, because we're not pretending to be something else. We're just literally being us, or a version of us. Besides the flourish style of sweetness and cuteness, Lolita also has many subgenres, such as classic Lolita, gothic Lolita, pirate Lolita, and the lesser known grotesque Lolita. Lesser known because it's a little extreme for any of you who know Guro Lolita, or just what Guro is in general. Jesus Christ. But we're going to enlighten the world what Lolita culture is and combat with those misleading stereotypes and hate comments this group has encountered. So I will say, I thought it was interesting that before she had really talked to our community at all, their thought was, we get hate comments and we are stereotyped. And she hadn't talked to us yet, but that was her opinion before she made the documentary. I was kind of hoping that after she made the documentary, she would see, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe every time we go out, we don't get stereotyped. It's so rare to like see a Lolita out that they don't necessarily have a stereotype. Now, there are those documentaries that talk about like, oh, the living doll thing, and that could give some people some stereotypes, preconceived notions of like what we are or like what we're doing, but you just talk to us for like 1 minute and know that it's not that. So then she just talks about where she's going to be filming. She talks about an apple picking festival, which unfortunately she didn't get to go to. I think too many of the girls were basically like not comfortable being filmed because all these events are technically private. She was just like allowed into the, you know, group because the admins chose. She talked about a tea house meet. I'm not sure there was any footage from that. Then she talked about the Unicorn Lolita meetup in Clinton, Connecticut, which that's where I was. She also went to a Ren fair and got some footage, but I think it was so loud there, they just couldn't really get any audio from that point. So that kind of sucked, but they got some cool footage. I hope it was worth their time. Hopefully they had fun too, because it was just a Ren fair as well. I really love how this is phrased. Main characters. Clover Jean, female, one of the admins of Connecticut on the Frills, a New England-based Lolita community. She introduced us to the Clinton Unicorn Craft Meetup at Akibo, where there will probably be 10 or so Lolitas. We hope to get some footage from the event and interview her as an organizer. I didn't like really organize that meetup. The person who owns the shop did. I organized a meetup at Akiba like quite a while ago, like months and months ago. After that, I feel like we had a meetup there almost every couple of months, and it's been really fun. It's one of our bigger meetups, just because it's convenient for people to get to. We hang out there for hours and just kind of like eat and craft and play games, so it's pretty cozy. Yeah, they go on. They have to outline what the conflict of their documentary will be, because no one wants to watch anything unless there's conflict. So they say, you know, we're going to talk about the stereotypes, that Lolita isn't cosplaying, it's a fashion style, it should be respected. Don't hear the word Lolita and think young girls and weird pedo shit, because that's not what it is. So their motivation, they're saying like it's a minority group and they wanted to bring some more light to it. Bring light to prejudices, misunderstanding. We're like a poor culture. We're a poor group. I mean, I know they have to repeat the same thing over and over, like you have to do in a school essay, but it's just so funny to like hear it over and over. It's like, oh, the stereotypes. Oh, every time I go out, people are like, Nabokov? Oh yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting. The style of their documentary was observational documentary. It will be interactive. We will use interviews from Lolitas involved in the story, and they'll be asked questions about the story, and their answers are used to tell the story in the film. And maybe we'll use some presented style to shoot filmmaker us sometimes to guide the audience through the story and interview people along the way. Yeah, they were doing an observational style, so they weren't supposed to be in it a lot. You weren't supposed to hear them asking questions, which you'll see that in some documentaries. Listen to how the people respond. They kind of had to teach me how to do this. They're like, don't just answer my question, rephrase my question and then say the answer. So if we're just like, why do you like Lolita fashion? Don't just say, because it's cute. You have to be like, I like Lolita fashion because do. Resolution. We imagine our film ending with Madeline say a message to those who may discriminate against people who like Lolita. We also want to prioritize the history of Lolita and the common stereotypes that have been created about Lolita due to stories such as Jeffrey Epstein. Curse you, Jeffrey Epstein! Ah! God damn him. We hope this documentary will open the doors for our viewers and that they will know about a new perspective and culture after watching. That's about it. That's what I knew about this going in. I had their outline, which was nice. I gave them a couple small pointers on their outline and just kind of chatted with Ella a little bit beforehand. I didn't get shady vibes, so I just went for it. So anyway, that's the background to the documentary. I didn't want to do all of this background and then do a watch through of the documentary. I wanted to just have a separate video where I just kind of talk about this group of people and how they created this documentary and prepared for it. I thought it was interesting. If you ever watch Lovely Lore's stuff, she talks about how she's been involved with a lot of documentaries and she kind of knows the process that they have to go through. So I kind of learned some things from her before I was involved with this, and I think it was actually very helpful. Every documentary, as good as their intentions are, there's some motive. There's some motive, good or bad, as to what they're trying to show and like what drama they might be trying to show to make their documentary interesting. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please go check out the watch through of the documentary. I'll try not to pause it too much, but I probably will. So I'm sorry. But go watch it, and then I'll also post a link to where they posted the documentary so you can go watch it there too and tell them how much you like it. Alright,